Let's move on now and sticking with the American theme, Caleb. Americans prepare for the big Pacific push is the headline on The Australian tomorrow. The US has joined Australia's effort to push back against the rise of Chinese influence in the Pacific with a multi-million-dollar package of funding for island nations and a ramped-up diplomatic presence in the region. Vice President Kamala Harris will tell leaders at this week's Pacific Islands Forum that the US will triple its funding to $60 million a year over the next decade for economic development and increase ocean resiliency by combating illegal fishing. Caleb, Kamala Harris, I mean, she hasn't really done much in that VP's chair other than give a bunch of talks around the world and things like that. How do you think that this will go down, not only within the Pacific Leaders Summit this week, but also what do you think that China's clapback will be?
Well, I mean, you know, if I were China, getting a talking to from Kamala Harris would be like being hit over the head with a wet lettuce leaf. I mean, seriously, you're not going to be that scared by it, are you? But finally, the US is stepping in and doing something here because, to be perfectly honest, the US and the rest of the Western world owes us. I mean, as a country, we were on the front foot about China's involvement in COVID, and we were on the front foot about the way China was generally treating the West, and we have paid for that through the tariffs that they have put upon our products and our exports. And at the same time that we saw billions and billions of dollars disappearing from what we used to sell to China, the US and Canada and New Zealand all increased the profit they were making from their exports to China. They basically picked up all the business we lost. So we were out there doing all the work and losing all of our benefits for it, and all of our allies were taking all the money. It's about time they stepped in and got involved in the issues in the Pacific because, you know, there's only so much we can do. We're a country of 25 million people. We may well bat above our average in pretty much everything we do, but there are limitations in how much we can actually do, particularly from a financial perspective in the Pacific, to ward off China. And if the rest of the West doesn't help us in doing that, they will ultimately pay for it because it is in their interest to make sure that Australia is the dominant power in the Pacific and not China. It's about time they stepped up.
Yeah.